Okay, so before we even get into what happened on NXT tonight, we do have some breaking news regarding two injuries that happened that actually do suck a lot. So your WWE Speed Champion Elio Lefleur is injured and will be out for a while, and so is Lexis King. So from what I could read, Lexis King has a concussion and Elio Lefleur has an arm or shoulder injury, I'm not exactly sure. So their timelines currently aren't very much defined, but it sucks for both of them because Elio Lefleur was the Speed Champion. He was going to be in this Tag Team Championship tournament, which, judging by the results of the match tonight, they were probably going to win. And similarly, Lexis King was really starting to build up momentum, and he was pretty likely going to be the challenger for Miles Bourne for the North American Championship. Obviously, they gave that to Johnny Gargano, but I don't think they would have put Johnny Gargano in there if it wasn't for Lexis King's injury, but maybe I'm wrong. But again, it sucks. Both men were being really entertaining. They were really building up a lot of momentum. I think this is the most entertaining both of them have been since their debuts. So it really sucks that they're both taken out at the same time and that they were injured in the very same match. So that really sucks. I hope a speedy recovery for both of them because I want to see them both back on my screen. Hopefully this isn't something that is too major or too long for either man, but as of right now, I don't know, and it just sucks. But now onto the actual NXT. We kick off the show with Charlotte thanking Robert Stone for being in the Gauntlet match tonight, and he wants to be number 1 in the Gauntlet, so he's gonna start it off. Then Tatum Paxley comes up, and Tatum Paxley wants to find Blake Monroe. Robert Stone says he has no idea where Blake Monroe is, and then Charlotte is like, don't worry, I'll help you find her. And then the two of them go off to go find Blake Monroe. Josh Briggs then wants to talk to Robert Stone, but Robert Stone has to brush him off because the referee calls him, and we find out that Elio Lefleur and Eli Knight were laid out backstage. This was just a way to write them off. Fairly good way to write them off. It sucks for Eli Knight because he's not injured, and he has 2 partners in the last few weeks that have been injured now, so it really sucks for him, but I think it was a solid way to write them off. Then we head into the opening match of the night, which was Ren Sinclair, your Women's Speed Champion, and Kendall Gray going up against Fatal Influence with JC Jane by their side. A surprisingly solid matchup, but it is Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair that do end up picking the victory. A really amazing opening match. I really enjoyed this. After the match, Kendall Gray gets on the mic and she calls out JC Jane, saying she is going to walk out of Stand and Deliver as the NXT Women's Champion no matter what. She's not going to lose like she did last time. But then Lola Vice comes out, and Lola Vice says that she's sure Kendall Gray is going to be a Women's Champion one day, but Lola Vice is going to be that first, and she wants at it at Stand and Deliver. So this makes Robert Stone come out and saying that next week in New York, yes, NXT is going to be in New York next week, we're going to have Lola Vice versus Kendall Gray in a number 1 contendership match. And man, it sucks for Lola Vice because there's just no way she's gonna win. They've been building Kendall Gray and JC Jane up way too much to add Lola Vice into this, and by the rare chance that we make this a triple threat match, because like the main NXT Men's Championship where they made it a fatal 4-way match, they could make it a triple threat match, but I really just hope it doesn't happen because the Kendall Gray and JC Jane feud so far has been pretty entertaining. I don't think Lola Vice fits into it whatsoever. Do I want to see Lola Vice be NXT Women's Champion eventually? Yes, I've been petitioning it for like years by now, but now is not the right time. So yeah, let's have Kendall Gray pick up the victory over Lola Vice and then let her have the NXT Women's Championship, and then we can down the line see what we do with Lola Vice. She should win it eventually though. Then we have a really great promo segment between Sol Ruka and Zarya. Man, Sol Ruka she sold me on how emotional she got. I really believed her, and I think part of it might be real because they've been a tag team for so long, finally breaking up has to kind of suck internally for both of them. But man, they were both good. They really convinced me. Obviously, I'm going to take Sol Ruka's side no matter what, right? You got to stay loyal to your people. So I'm staying loyal to Sol Ruka. But Zarya really had me convinced on her points. She's not wrong, but I'm still taking Sol Ruka's side here. So man, I'm hyped for this match. I can't wait for this match. Obviously, we know Sol Ruka is not long for NXT anymore. She's gonna go that Javon Evans route where she never won a world championship, but she was arguably one of the top faces of NXT in the period she was here. But that's fine, right? So probably Zarya going to win. Maybe they'll have Sol Ruka win, but I doubt it. I'm still gonna be rooting for her though. Follow that up with a match between my GOAT, Kalani Jordan, going up against Thea Hill, who has a new haircut, which is man, this sucks. She got a new haircut and it really helps her look. She looks different with the haircut. Obviously you do, your hair is a big part of you, but she does look different only to lose to Kalani Jordan. And fair, we're building to Kalani Jordan versus Jada Parker. I'm gonna get to that in a moment, but I just feel like you shouldn't have had Thea Hill lose here because it's a new look, it's a new vibe. you should have probably given her a victory here. Not over Kalani Jordan necessarily, but you just shouldn't have had her lose. But it's fine, it's fine. I'm sure she will do good in the future again. After the match, Kalani Jordan keeps attacking Thea L, only for Jada Parker to come out, and Jada Parker chases her away, and then we have a face-off. So it is announced that next week we will be getting Jada Parker versus Kalani Jordan. So yeah, as a Kalani Jordan fan, it sucks that I have to admit that once again she's probably gonna get her ass whooped. I don't see her defeating Jada Parker. I would love that. Honestly, no. Like, as much as I love Kalani Jordan, Jada Parker just has it, and she should probably win that match next week. But it's gonna be a great match, right? But it just sucks that she's always in the feuds where she's gonna lose. Like, fine, let's give her one major feud where she can at least win. Please, Shawn Michaels, please, Heartbreak Kid, you are breaking my heart. You just give Kalani Jordan one good feud where she can actually end up on top, man, please. Anyways, all throughout the night, Josh Briggs has been trying to talk to Robert Stone, but he keeps getting interrupted by other more major stuff that is happening. So eventually in Robert Stone's office, one of the referees come up to him and he says that nobody wants to be the referee for Keanu Carver versus Jasper Troy's match next week. There's been too many attacks, it's been too brutal, nobody wants to referee that match. So Josh Briggs is just like, you know what? I want to be the referee for this match. Put me in, just give me some screen time. And I don't know how I feel about this. Obviously it could be cool, but I really wanted Booker T to be the special guest referee here. I felt like it was kind of obvious, make Booker T the special guest referee here. It would be very entertaining. I guess, you know, Josh Briggs is fine. I think you could probably had more entertaining picks, but hey, he's a big guy, he might be into this. I don't know how I feel about this. I think there were better options, but it's one of those situations where just like I have to see how it plays out before I can give a true opinion about it. As of right now, I'm just very indifferent. I don't know how I feel about it. Then we have the Eliminator where Shiloh Hill does enter first and he surprisingly makes it very far. He's the last person eliminated. You also have Jackson Drake in it. Deion Lennox is also in this match, but he gets his ass whooped in the middle of the match by OTM, who just jumps him and they beat the shit out of him. Great stuff. We're going to talk about what happened with OTM after this because damn, that's going to be cool. But then you also have Charlie Dempsey who replaces Lexis King, and your final competitor was Johnny Gargano. So maybe Johnny Gargano was planned to be in it from the start. I just doubt it since, okay, they replaced Lexis King with Charlie Dempsey. They didn't replace him with Johnny Gargano, so I'm a bit conflicted, but it felt like Lexis King was being built up to be the challenger, so maybe they moved other stuff around, but I'm not completely sure. Regardless, Johnny Gargano does end up winning it. Like, I haven't been watching SmackDown, right? But this Johnny Gargano gimmick, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of the same thing we've been doing with the Vanity Project, where they miraculously win by each other helping each other, like throwing each other on pins. Candice LeRae did exactly that. But hey, I'm excited for it. The fans were very into Johnny Gargano, maybe because, you know, he's an NXT legend, but I think it was because the gimmick is pretty entertaining too. Now, I'm excited to see for this match because I do hope we get Johnny wrestling for this match, because I don't see how a full long match with this can be very entertaining. I guess you can make it entertaining. I'm not gonna complain about it, but again, I haven't been watching SmackDown, so I don't know how good it's been. So hopefully we get a good wrestling match, because as much as I love characters and as much as I love fun silly stuff, I don't know if I want to see a full match between Miles Bourne and Johnny Gargano with this. Like, this feels like one of those matches where I want to see a wrestling match actually happen. But anyway, since I mentioned OTM, they are going to be having a 6-man tag team match next week, and their partner will be Mike Santana. Man, that's dope. You know, this should have been on Stand and Deliver. Obviously, TNA has their own pay-per-view that weekend, I think. But damn, I think this should be on Stand and Deliver. They can be in the new LAX, because like Santana and OTM, that just... you guys know how much I love OTM. They're so cool. And then Santana, he's okay, right? I've kind of died down on the hype for him, but this team up, feed it to me, inject it straight into my veins, man. I want to see this match. Low-key the most hyped I've been for Dark State ever, and it's not even because of them, it's because of the people who are going to kick their ass. And then we have the Culling, who are facing against the replacements of Elio, Lefleur, and Eli Knight, which is Rio and Bravo, Los Americanos. And surprisingly enough, they win, which makes me think that Elio, Lefleur, and Eli Knight were going to win. And even though we got replaced, during the match, I was assuming the Culling are going to win because it just made sense. You keep it within the NXT frame. But no, you know, Rio and Bravo won, so I don't know what to make of that. They're probably not going to make it all the way to the pay-per-view. They're probably going to lose, or maybe. I don't know. I genuinely do not know who's going to end up winning this tag team tournament, because like things have been shaken up so much that As long as Swipe Right retain the tag team championships, I'm fine with whoever goes ahead and faces them at this point. But I'm shocked the culling lost. I mean, what's even the point of the culling at this point anymore? And then naturally, the main event where Ricky Saints goes up against Tony D'Angelo, and the match ends in disqualification. I don't really have a lot to say about the match. It was fine, but the match ends in disqualification. Ethan Page and Ricky Saints beat up Tony D'Angelo. Joe Henry comes down to save Tony D'Angelo, and Tony D'Angelo lays in the corner. Ricky Saints and Ethan Page retreats with the NXT Championship. They both hold on to it. They don't know who to give it to, and it is confirmed that it's going to be a Fatal 4 match once again. Tony D'Angelo's inclusion in this does not benefit this story at all. It feels shoved. It feels forced. It does not feel natural whatsoever, and I do not like it. It would have been much more interesting if it was just Joe Henry, just Ethan Page, just Ricky Saints. The only reason Tony D'Angelo was in this is because they want to get him on the card, and they have no idea what to do with him other than putting him in a championship match. He should not be here. Do I think the match is going to be great? Yes, I think it's going to be a wonderful match, but once again, I just can't buy into Tony D'Angelo being in this. The storyline was progressing so well, being so entertaining, and do I want to see Tony D'Angelo eventually get a feud with Joe Henry for the championship? Yes, but that should happen after Stand and Deliver, after this 3-way feud is done. It should really not be happening now. But overall, that's NXT Future 9, and again, a relatively great show. I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10. The show was great. The matches were all good to great matches, especially the women's matches tonight. They were fantastic. Everything was entertaining. The character work was entertaining. Some of the stuff that happened was entertaining. All the backstage segments were entertaining. But, just a few choices that I do not like the Tony D'Angelo thing. I'm going to keep saying I do not like his inclusion in this whole thing. And it just sucks with Lexis King and Elio Lefleur being out, because they were having really good moments. They were building a lot of momentum. I think they were going to do great. So it sucks that they're out. So hopefully they'll get a speedy recovery. But other than that, this was my review of NXT for tonight. If you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe. I cover NXT, TNA, and Evolve every single weekend. From this weekend on, I'm also going to start covering AAA every single weekend. So tune into that if that's your thing. Leave a like, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff. I hope to see you again soon. Goodbye, everyone.